20 years that I've been here, I've seen and heard lots of different tales. You hear everything from the ghost stories to the witch's tower, of course, the water tower. The wires are facing inward instead of outward to keep the witches in. We've actually had some suspicious fires and stone markings in the prairie. We have heard of ghosts in the basement of Highland Hall, and Highland Hall, or rather Higher Hall, and Higher Hall used to be Old Main, and so that burned down, and for a long time there was a wooden, or rather a dirt basement in on the basement of Higher Hall, and supposedly there were witches down there as well. Of course, we have the 3 cemeteries in town that make the triangle. Fraternities and sororities in the past have done different kinds of events around these possibilities. Of course, Halloween. Some of the Halloween shenanigans. It's funny because a lot of times people think they're in costume, or they are in costume, so they think they can do things and be invisible. So when a French fry does something and goes running, it's pretty easy to find the French fry, you know. People have a tendency to do, let's wait a second here, let's see. I gotta put this politically correct.
Gather your thoughts.
Yes. A lot of times, student organizations will get together and do scavenger hunts, those types of things in regards to the different haunted items on campus. They'll do some collections. They'll have to go and collect something from every place, or get somebody to sign something. Halloween is kind of unique around here. They like to do anything and everything, all kinds of costumes, you name it. It's difficult sometimes on Halloween to figure out when somebody's actually hurt or if it's just the fake blood. So we have to take care of some of those kind of issues. But for Halloween, we still have to take everything as if it's real. So even if you're in costume and you're all torn up, we have to make sure that it didn't happen as a crime, kind of a thing. We have some student organizations that have done actual kind of rituals. Again, we're on campus, so First Amendment rights, as long as they're not killing animals in front of us or anything like that. We do have different organizations on campus that do some of the rituals. Some of the rituals may include rock formations and those kinds of things. Some of them are just costumes. Some of them are dressed up in actual garb. But we have it all.
Okay, what's your personal beliefs on spirituality?
I personally believe in God. I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but I know sometimes there's some unexplainable things. Doors open for no reason, windows open or slam for no reason. But I personally don't believe in paranormal, but doesn't mean that others don't. And especially in uniform, you know, my beliefs don't matter when I'm in uniform. It's whatever the individual believes. So if we get calls, we just check it out and go from there. There's been a couple of people that want to have events and those kinds of things. And at first, you know, people are laughing and those kinds of things. They're like, no, we're really serious. We want to do this. And so, again, we're a university, so everything is wide open. They aren't here to think inside the box. They're here to think outside the box. And so we provide any kind of information. And as long as, again, it's not hurting anybody, we allow those kinds of things. So a couple of the things probably, Upham Hall has a lot of taxidermy animals. And so sometimes people are up there too, again, with different beliefs, or they believe, you know, the animals are spiritual and they want to connect with them. So kind of almost any of the buildings on campus, depending upon people's beliefs, can have some spirituality for them. Because we're a campus, we're a state property, people come and do rallies and demonstrations, and they're allowed to do that. And then a lot of times they will be preaching their items, and people will be commenting back to them, or students will walk past them and they'll be called names like your lifestyle is not appreciated, so you're going to be damned to hell, or vice versa. So we have those kind of open conversations and speeches and demonstrations on campus because they're allowed to. We just have to make sure that they don't get physical. So, but it's awesome because they have a good dialogue going back and forth as well. Just last week we had a little rally on the mall in regards to unity, and everyone got together and wore different color shirts, and we did like a little rainbow and then mixed up the shirts. And again, freedom of speech. People can either join in and partake, or people walk by and give little comments. So we have an area on campus almost anywhere, but a lot of areas that people like to do these demonstrations and voice these opinions is usually in the mall area near the University Center, because that's where a lot of the people come. They pass through there throughout the day, they go eat there, they socialize there, and that's a good place for people to give those voices and those opinions. If somebody wants to do something kind of controversial on campus, they connect with the police department, but that doesn't mean it's a permission kind of thing. It's so that everybody stays safe.
Awareness.
And exactly, and so that we know they're going to be on campus, and if need be, we have to do physical separations if we have to. But a lot of the time, it's just a matter of the officers are on an extra patrol, and that we make sure everybody is safe and they're able to speak their point of view or their First Amendment rights.
You didn't get away.
A kind of a unique situation. We have a cemetery in the middle of the campus. It's actually a city's jurisdiction, but sometimes when people are depressed, they'll go over there. We've had a couple of people go over there to attempt to suicide. But it's one of those interesting ones. They lock it during Halloween, that day only, but that's the only day. The gates don't open and close by themselves, like some legends have said. But the unique thing around that cemetery is there is wiring around the cemetery.
Barbed wire?
And every one of the barbed wires, every one of the barbs, has gum on it. And so it's really kind of a unique situation. And I'm not sure why that is or why that happened, or if it's to keep spirits in or out, or it has nothing to do with spirits. I have no idea. But it's kind of unique to have a cemetery in the middle of the campus. Not only people, go there when they're depressed and things, but it's just kind of a unique place. If somebody wants some quiet, sometimes people just go there.
I also want to get your badge.
I was putting it in my chest.
Well, 2 for 1.